Hi, everybody. It's Gretchen. Ooh, I have kind of a mess behind me. Oh, welcome to my messy house. There's an upside down pumpkin thing, Halloween in my background, which I didn't see. I didn't do the video cleanup. Anyway, it's so wonderful to see everybody. If you can, give me a hello online and let me know that you can see and hear and all that good stuff. Okay, so a couple of things we're gonna do. We're gonna handle first, and then we are going to. I'm gonna. It's just amazing. Oh yeah, okay. People are online. Hi, Bethany. Bethany. I've already fallen in love with her, and I've decided that we should be best friends forever. So we'll see how that goes. Don't embarrass me, people. Just kidding. Okay. One thing before we start, it's wonderful to see all of you. I want to let you know that our next book is coming up in January. It's Brooke Fosse's The Big Finish, which I am so I haven't read it yet. I haven't had the chance to read it yet, but I've heard such great things about it. And it's about these guys who escape from a nursing home. And I cannot imagine a more enticing topic for a novel than an escape novel right now, because we all want to escape. So that's coming up January 26th. You know where to find it. You find it right here. Now I am gonna skip ahead over all the business stuff because that's boring. And I am going to bring on Abbi Waxman. Dun, da, da, da. Here she comes.
Hello. So incredibly underwhelming in person.
I didn't think so. I didn't think it was underwhelming. Abbi, I need to remind everybody you were supposed to be on last month. And then I had a run-in with the Rona, a brief little run-in, and you were so gracious to check in with me. And also when I suggested a rescheduling, how are you so laid back?
I'm drunk most of the time.
No, you're not. You don't even drink.
No, I don't drink. I don't know, just laziness. Also, can I just say, I thought that the pumpkin picture behind you was a bottom. I thought it was a portrait of somebody's bottom. And I didn't want to mention it because I was like, oh, how modern. She has a picture of a lady's bottom painted really big on the wall behind her. How very novel. But I'm disappointed that it's a pumpkin.
It's a big ass.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big, lovely lady's bottom, but no.
It's a reminder to me to lose weight. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's a beautiful bottom that happens to also be a gourd. Yes, but,
gourd. Yeah. Well, I am thrilled to have you. First of all, let's get first things first out of the way. If anybody on the stream hears any of my dogs barking or any of Abbi's dogs barking, we're just going to forget that because that is life, right?
That is life. And my dog is standing behind me right now. Look at him. He's sniffing an Amazon delivery in the hopes that it contains nothing but bones. That's actually a box of toilet paper. So it's really deeply disappointing for him. So.
Now, okay, Abbi, I'll just do a quick, brief introduction. This is actually your fourth novel, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
On a test, right? You're not going to ask difficult questions?
I'm not going to ask difficult questions.
Yes.
I promise. In fact, I should have had this ready. Bad host. The Garden of Small Beginnings, Other People's Houses, then your huge breakout, The Bookish Life of Nina Hill, and now this one, which we all loved. And so if anybody has questions about The Bookish Life of Nina Hill, feel free to...
Yes, fire away.
Yeah, fire away. Feel free to ask as we're going through. And now this one. Here's what we're discussing tonight. I was told it would get easier. And Abbi, yes. I know I have gushed over you with this book. And I loved Nina Hill. I really did. In fact, I bought the audiobook and I was listening to the audiobook and I was like, no, this is the kind of book I actually want. It was so good that I was like, I need to read this in paper form because I need to understand how she does this. like needed to see you putting your words and sentences together. And I'm going to get into a little bit. And I know being a Brit that you probably don't like people gushing all over you, but I'm
No, I'm deeply embarrassed already. No, I'm horrified already. Go on.
Go on. Praise me more.
No, it's more. It is mortifying. I'm literally like my toes. You can't see it because I'm lying sideways on the sofa, but my toes are curling. It's. I don't know why we hate it so much. It's so embarrassing.
Well, I hate self-promoting. It's the worst. I hate it so much. And so I'm happy to I'm happy to promote for you all day long, just so long as I don't have to do it for myself, if that's all right.
I'll do it for you. You do it for me.
Okay, that's a promise. Actually, you already did, because Abby was gracious enough to read an early copy of The Kids Are Going to Ask and blurbed it.
Yeah, I got it ahead. I was way ahead of the curve on that one.
Yeah, well,
and it was awesome.
You're one of the 5 people that's read it, so yay!
No, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so Abby, here's why I want to gush over you, and here's why I had to go and buy a copy of Nina Hill in addition to the audiobook. And it's because, I mean, you're known for your wit and you live your wit. Like I mean, I even love emailing with you because I know you were in advertising and everything before this. I should tell everyone that you had a whole corporate life before this, and you have 3 kids at home, and you have 3 dogs, 3 cats, right?
Only 2 dogs currently.
2 dogs.
Don't get carried away. Just 2 dogs currently. Yeah.
But 3 cats?
3 cats. Hang on. I'm also responding to my kid who is forgetting that I had said to her I was busy. But she's texting me. She's upstairs, but she's texting me. Yes. So here's the rundown. Currently, as of right now, 2 dogs, because we lost a dog last year. 2 dogs, 3 cats, 2 guinea pigs, a lizard, a snake, 5 chickens. We had 6, but 1 died, probably of boredom. I think that's it.
Probably of boredom.
Oh, and a lizard.
Do your do your chickens? So you have them for the eggs? They lay? Okay.
They do. Okay. Right now they're on strike because. Here's a side note. So when a chicken molts and loses their feathers, which they do every year or so, they don't lay eggs during that period because they're like, fuck you, I'm not laying an egg. I'm changing my entire self. Like, so there's no eggs currently. And it's also cold for here. Yeah. So they're like, no.
Not going to happen.
Not happening.
Okay. So you have a gigantic life as it is. And you're pumping out incredible books. And one of the things that I wanted to study, to be perfectly honest, writer to writer, was your ability, I call it like a snap capture of a character. You have an insane ability to, in 1 sentence or 2 sentences, capture the essence of a character. Did you know that, first of all?
I didn't. That's very, very, very nice of you. That's a very lovely thing to say. I think it's a complete lie, but I love it.
It's not, because I even have notes in my book that I'm going to read. Because here's an example, okay?
Okay.
On the very first page, you're introducing Jessica's boss, John. And all you have to say is, I could hear John before I could see him, which was par for the course. Classic iron hand and velvet glove, my boss. And if occasionally the gloves are fingerless and the fingers a little stabby, so much the better. Southern to the core. Okay, now this was a swoony sentence. Southern to the core, with all the civility and elegance that implies, but with a Yankee carpetbagger's eye for profitable misery. I was just like, I know exactly what that is.
Good.
Carpetbagger's eye. And then I had to stop and remind myself, you're definitely not Southern.
No, sadly. Sadly, yeah.
You didn't study carpetbaggers growing up in history class.
No, but I did see Gone with the Wind.
Is that what it is?
That's really all you need. And my mother is from Detroit, so I actually am half American, although I didn't come here until I was in my 20s. But yes, Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
So it does it.
Yeah.
Also,
Well,
in England, strangely, and actually this is sort of what's weird about America, is that in England and many other countries, you study the history of other countries besides your own as well as your own. So we were taught about the Civil War and that kind of stuff.
it's
And
mind-boggling. Why would you do that?
Oh, and there was a mini series called North and South.
Oh,
I
yes. And I'm guessing you're a child of the 80s, like me.
Yeah, born in 1970. So I was a teenager in the 80s, which only recently became cool to my children.
I know.
I'm in no way cool, but the fact that my middle kid said to me the other day, we were listening to Tears for Fears or some other thing, who are, by the way, from my hometown. And I was like, yeah, I was your age, or I was 15 or whatever when this came out. And she said to me, oh, you're so lucky to have been a teenager in the 80s. It's so cool. It's just so cool. Like, literally, that is it. That's the moment of cool I'm going to have with that kid, and the rest.
It was pretty cool. Okay, so is this your kid who, your oldest, who's already in college? Okay.
That was the middle one.
Okay.
The middle one, who was all about 80s fashion and what she referred to the other day as Y2K. Apparently now the year 2000 is a fashion trend. I remember Y2K being a thing that we were all panicking about, but apparently it's just a thing that's dressing's up style. I don't know.
You know, Y2K is when we were stockpiling water and toilet paper and pantry goods.
Yeah, and then at 12:02 a.m. we were like, oh, okay then.
Crack them open. Hey, speaking of your kids, I happened to notice in the credits, I got real geeky going into this. I happened to notice in the credits that the map that introduces their college tour is credited to Julia Waxman. Is that one of your kiddos? That's
my oldest. She also drew the map in other people's houses, in the front of other people's houses.
She did.
She drew that map as well. Yeah.
So you have a little artist.
She's an arty one. Yeah, she's going to college to study illustration when anyone can ever go to college again. Yes, that's what she's going to do.
And that's a huge privilege to draw, especially for the cover, because covers can be such messy business.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun to be able to do that. I offered to pay her, and she laughingly said, no, of course not. And then I didn't. So probably that's going to come back to haunt me at some point. She'll be like, wait, don't you owe me? It's like, I think I offered her like $200.
That's what she gets to learn about contracts.
Right. I was like, no, I'm not going to pay you for that. I thought I'd just pay for college.
Hey, Karen, it's so good. We've got our regulars always, we've always got more than our regulars who check in, but our regulars always check in and say, I'm here. Karen. Yes. And get your questions ready, guys. We've got Abbi until 7:30 tonight, and then we're going to switch over to In a Holidays. Abbi is, of course, welcome to stay, but we know she also has a life.
I already fed the dogs, though, so it's really, I'm free now.
Okay, so in case anybody hasn't read this book, that's one of the great things about this book club is that as an author, we're typically talking about our books in promotion before anybody's read them, even often, like when we do library talks. But I love interacting with book clubs because they've read the book and they have these very specific questions. So I'm going to get the ball rolling, but throw the questions out to the to book clubbers as they come in. And my primary question, let me give a summary just in case you haven't read it. So the mother is Jessica, and she's a lawyer, and she's stressed and slightly dissatisfied with the direction her life is taking. And her daughter is Emily, a high school senior, and they undertake a college, a guided college tour of the East Coast together. And I think, as with any parent-teenager relationship, they have definite highs and lows along.
Shenanigans. I like to say shenanigans ensue is always the way I describe my books. Like this blah, 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 set up, and shenanigans ensue.
And
because
shenanigans ensued.
that's always what happens.
Yeah.
But yes, and I wrote it in mother voice and daughter voice alternating.
Yeah, actually, that was going to be that was actually one of my later questions, but I did want to ask you that. So, you tend to write in first person, don't you?
I have Garden. Nina's not in first person. Garden's in first person. I think it's half and half at this point. I always start off wanting to write. I find it easier to write in first person, but I think I write better in second person. Yeah, I don't know. It varies.
Do you just instinctively know per the book or per the character or the tone that how you want to write it? How do you determine the voice?
I don't know. I just kind of wing it. The trouble with answering questions about my books, and I'm sure you feel the same way, is I honestly don't know the answer to most questions. The answer to the question, like, where do you get your...
We don't care.
Boy, less of it. Come here. I paid him to actually pay attention to me. He never pays attention to me normally. So the fact that he just stopped, complete coincidence. Probably the dog or Leaf or whatever was going by just left.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick. Stop.
But it's instinctive for you, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I just wing it, and I think a lot about the characters before I start writing the books, and I always start from that, which is why the plots are threadbare at best. Yeah. And I'm not a plotty writer, I'm a character person. So I start from the characters and then just have crappy things happen to them and then work out how they would respond.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish I wasn't that way. I wish I was much more of a planner, and my editor wishes I was much more of a planner, but I'm not, and I don't know. I'll have to keep trying, but yeah. I find it very hard to know what's going to happen next. Do you plan everything?
My first two novels, I did not.
Okay.
And I found that what that led me to was a lack of engine.
That's my problem.
Mm-hmm. Like I would be spinning my wheels, and I liked spending time with the characters, but then, my writers group would come back and say, these are great scenes, but why do they matter?
Right. No, that's exactly my problem. And I'm really struggling with the one I'm writing now, and I keep writing scenes and I'm like, how did that advance the plot? I don't know, actually advance the plot at all. Yeah, I'm going to try the next one. I'm going to try planning more because it's giving me an agita to.
Well, I don't think, I think you wrap it up together as you put together. Okay. So I love to hear that you think a lot about your characters in advance, because I often get into a spin cycle about those too, but I've gotten better about that. But my question is, what did you hope that readers would take from your main characters, Jessica and Emily? What was like, since you're so great at capturing their essence, how did you picture their essence?
What I wanted to capture, well, I was we talked about this before. I'm going through this. I have kids of this age right now. And the experience of having, and again, I talk about this in the book, is this idea that you kind of have got it nailed. Little kids, by the time they suddenly turn into teenagers, you're like, oh God, I've totally got this now. I get 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 8-year-olds, nailed. And then they change overnight and everything was useless that you had worked so hard. And part of me became deeply resentful of that. Like, dude, I worked really hard on this parenting thing, and now you're giving me a different job. Like, seems selfish of you. But they're not big picture thinkers, teenagers, so they don't care about me. But then, as you know, like over the period of their teens, they turn into these other people. The first few years, they're just assholes. And then at about 15 or 16, they start to suddenly turn into regular people again, who aren't the kids that you knew, but they're these whole new people. And they're awesome also. But for me, it was a real challenge to shift gears from being the sort of parent of an 8-year-old who explains why things are happening.
Yeah.
And the parent of an 18-year-old who doesn't care for my explanation of why things are happening, and in fact would rather tell me why things are happening the way they're happening, because when I was 18, the wheel had just been invented. So, it was, so yeah. So I wanted to write about that, and about the fact that I think the thing I'm always trying to write about, actually, in everything, is how people change. I'm always interested in how people change over time. And yet when you have a relationship with someone, you tend to sort of freeze in one spot with them. So like your mother is always your mother,
Yeah.
even though, she's then aged another 30 years while you've grown, and she has changed, but you still think of her as a mother. You get my drift? So I'm sort of interested in how you can love someone and that person changes, and you have to change the way you love them and change the way you interact with them.
Yeah.
While still maintaining the love, right? Even though they've changed. And that it's a good idea for people to change, because that would be a good idea. And plus, pro changing and developing. But that's what interests me, is how people change over time and how they change in different situations and circumstances, and how people are different in different contexts. So I also wanted to show with Jessica that she's very, very competent at work. She really loves her work and cares about it deeply. And but she's a smart woman, and she's aware that there's a conflict between having an incredibly consuming career and having children, right? Having a child. Mm-hmm. And so even though she's cognitively fully aware of the fact that there's this challenge, she loves her work. She loves her work, right? Yeah. And she wants to be, and she also believes, as I do, that a fulfilled parent of either gender is probably a happier parent than one who is unfulfilled and frustrated, right? So if she gave up her career, that wouldn't help her child either. It would be, she would be bitter about it. So, and that the teenagers, even though their whole job is to reject you, and push away from you, they also really desperately want to hang on, and it's just a very challenging time. It is. And so I wanted to write about that. So I did. That's what I did.
Beautifully, I might add.
Thank you.
I remember having this conversation, and we were at like a parenting conference or something, and our middle is, he was a strong-willed child.
Okay.
We'll put it that way. But the irony is that he has turned into a delightful teenager, and responsible. And he's never going to be super loving or conversational. And he's the one who tells me I have the worst job in the world. But I remember a parenting expert saying, this is when they were so small, and he had been such an easy baby. And she said, you get to about 18 months and you wonder where your easy, loving baby has gone. And she said, well, I'm going to tell you, they will have disappeared until about the age of 4 or 4.5. And I remember thinking, I don't think I can do that. Make it until 4.5, because he had gone from this easygoing baby to like nothing doing, and I would not have imagined that he would grow up to be, the easy kid that he is now.
Well, that's the thing. You have no idea what they're going to become. And the both reassuring and terrifying thing is it doesn't really matter what you do. They're going to grow into the people that they grow into. And now that my youngest kid is now 13, and the thing that I've learned, probably just a little bit too late, is that the less I do, the better. The more I let them just do their thing, as long as they don't catch fire, and then they do better.
That's actually true. I think that's actually true.
Every time I got really engaged in it and really cared about the outcome, it was piss poor.
Yeah. Amen. I had parents who were very hands off like that. And now that I'm a parent, in retrospect, I think, I wasn't neglected by any means. They were just letting me take risks. And
mine too. That was the way it was back then. It was like, go out, come back when the streetlights come on. Yeah. Now, and I did get up to some shenanigans, there's that word again, but I didn't impale myself on anything. No. I didn't do anything truly bad. I mean, I did stupid. Quite a lot, but I didn't do anything super bad. And I don't know. I worry that if I raised my kids to be so scared all the time of everything that they wouldn't be able to go and leave, which I'm hoping that they will do. Eventually.
And that's what Jessica eventually comes to. And I love it.
I mean,
it's a struggle for her.
It is, but I think the thing that she realizes, as if she wasn't actually also me, but the thing that she realizes is that she might actually be a better parent of a teenager than she was a parent of a small child. Yeah. And that's also something I think that we forget, that, you know, we're constantly told by the media that there is one way to be a good parent and that you have to be consistent and you have to do, but actually, no, you can change and grow along with your child. And you might be really, really good at little kids. You might be really crap at teenagers. It might be the reverse. It doesn't matter. You just do the best you can and hope that no one, you know, explodes.
Yeah. You know, Jessica's, I loved Emily's journey because I loved that you didn't go down a traditional path. She didn't have like a 180 where she decided, oh, Mom, I do want to go to college. You know, she was able to, in the end, tell her mother why her passions were going to lead her where she believed they ought to lead her. And Jessica, you know, comes around to that. And then in the end, one of the absolute things I loved about this, because it's such a core truth to parenting, is that we parents learn from our kids as much as they learn from us, if not maybe more.
Yeah. If not more, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And so Jessica, one of the why archery? Jessica goes back and takes up her
hobby.
Yeah, her hobby.
Oh no, just because it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Oh, sorry, I asked you a why question.
Yeah. Also, I don't know, Gina Davis, like archery. And then my kid was into archery, and I probably looked out the window and saw an archery target in the garden and thought, all right. And also, actually, quite seriously though, now that I think about it, it needed to be something that she could do just as well at 40 as she could at 20, right? So,
right.
Bobsled, probably not.
No.
Tennis, maybe, but maybe not. So it needed to be something that she could do. Well, because we already know in the story that she picked up archery because she was born with a twisty foot. And so she had already picked that sport because it was something that she could do on a level playing field with the other kids, right? So that it's just a good sport for that. You know, it's just something that she could come back to and do just as well at.
Yeah. Okay, book clubbers, I'm going to ask my final question, but I'm giving you a heads up. Get questions in before.
They don't care. They have no questions. They're like, what is there to ask? It's all crystal clear.
No. Usually, often these guys are back and forth. But you know, we're also all in kind of a holiday mood. Our heads are elsewhere.
Hammered.
But okay, so and don't worry, book clubbers, I am going to ask her what's next because they all panic, understandably and reasonably, if I don't ask what you're going to have next. So keep that in the back of your mind. But one of the questions that I ask every author is this: what's it like? I think people are very curious about this, and I know I'm always curious about this with other writers.
I'm excited about this question. Go on.
What's it like in your head when you're writing? What do you see or hear, or how would you describe it?
It's dark. I'm playing music quite loudly sometimes. I play the same music over and over and over again.
Physically, or in your head, you have like a soundtrack that goes?
No, with headphones.
Okay.
Well, you have an orchestra in yours?
No, I'm curious.
I'm supposed to be playing my own music?
I didn't know.
I see it in my head. I see what I'm writing, like a movie. So I'm seeing it, and then I'm just describing what I'm seeing. Really, that's all it is.
Do you feel like you're driving it, or do you feel like the story is being told for you from somewhere deep inside your brain?
Probably somewhere between the two. Like when it's going well and I'm sort of in flow and it's like and I have no sense of time passing and it's awesome, like the best, which is maybe 15% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Then I feel like the story is just telling itself, or rather that the characters are just doing what they're going to do. Right. Then the other 85%, no good at math, 85% of the time, it's me taking back the control and editing and trying to get it better. Right. So yeah, 15% flow, 85% panic and editing.
Well, that's
my process. I write a bit, then I panic, then I write a bit, then I panic. That's how I go. Same music or different? Bethany wants to know. Same music playlist for each book. So each book has a playlist. They're not. Here's another thing. My teenagers complained the other day that my playlists are too short because my playlists are like maybe an hour and 20 minutes of music. Yeah. And their playlists are like 500 hours long. To which I said, that's not a playlist, that's a library. And then we got into a whole like. Yeah, I don't know what I did wrong, but apparently that's what I did wrong.
No, you know what that is? It's because we were raised on albums and cassettes. We have a mind for a subset of music that makes sense together. Plus, how many mixtapes did you make in your lifetime?
Lots. Lots. And also, it's like, and even after that, we had iTunes, right? So that you would buy tracks and you would put them together, whereas they just use Spotify. So it's just constantly all there and streaming, and I don't know. I don't understand them. They don't understand me. It's fine. It's supposed to be that way.
Okay. So I promised to ask what's coming up next. And I do understand that Nina's coming back.
Nina is coming back. So what's coming up next is, I'm afraid, not a hell of a lot next year because I missed my deadline this year. Completely, not just missed it by a hair, but like crashed right through it, obliterated it.
Is this the book that you were talking about? You were struggling
with?
I'm
working on now. So it was supposed to be delivered in June, and it's not finished. So it's not being published next year. That's how they punish you for being late. They're like, wait, you didn't give us a book? Fuck you, we're not going to publish it then. So that's what they did. So they're not publishing it until 2022. So, which is good because I'm retaliating by then taking a really long time to fully finish it and possibly having it still be crap when I'm finished, because I did deliver a book in September that was crap and that got kicked back, and then I rewrote it and then it got kicked back again.
That's
painful. But you know what? It's good. It's good to get kicked in the teeth every so often and reminded that you're just not the hot shit you thought you were. It's very humbling. And also, in the face of everything that happened this year, it's a very small problem. So, yeah, honestly, I'm like, whatevs. But, so nothing next year, and then it'll come out the following year. But Nina's in it. Liz is in it. Polly is in it. Lily and Edward from the first book are in it. Impossibly Handsome Bob is the love interest in it. Yeah, I like to write the same characters over and over again.
I love that. I've always wanted, so far, I do not have a streak of doing this, but I've always wanted to write books that Fanny Flagg does this. If you ever have read Fanny Flagg, but she has this universe of people who, like, I always call them like walk-on characters, in a movie or a television show, because they kind of like walk in and out of each other's plots, but they're not the central characters of each book.
Exactly. And that's what I do. And I really like it. I love reading those kinds of books. Yes. And so I like writing those kinds of books. And so, like, in this book, she's on the phone all the time to her friend Frances, who is the lead character in Other People's Houses. And
so, God, I didn't put that together.
If you know that, you might recognize her, and if you don't, it doesn't matter, right? So it's really, it's just my way of saying, I don't know. One, it's my way of being lazy and having characters I've already written, so I don't have to think of any new ones. And it's like going to a party with someone you know, rather than going on your own. So it's much easier. I know how Nina's going to respond to something, or I know how Frances is what she's going to say. So it's easier. But yeah, and also because readers like it, and I like readers.
And you like readers. I love readers, actually.
I love my readers. They're so nice to me. Like, people are so nice, and so the same for you. They write to you. They tell you what they like. Occasionally I'll get a letter where someone's like, I got a letter recently where someone just hated, which one was it? Oh, it's always other people's houses. That's the one that makes people really angry. They hate that one. They don't like it because there's too much swearing.
Oh, did
Literally.
they get on you with the swearing?
God, all the time. And what's really, truly irritating is that my mother said to me, there's too much swearing in this one. You should take it out. And I was like, no. And she's like, yes, there's too much swearing. She said, Abby, your vocabulary is better than that. You can come up with a better word than shit. And I was like, well, what if I mean shit? And so anyway, but unfortunately she was right. And people complain about the swearing all the time, and they don't like the fact that there's a lady has cancer in it and makes jokes about it. And she doesn't like that. She thought it was a very serious topic and you shouldn't make jokes. And seeing as that conversation was literally based on an actual conversation I had with a really good friend of mine who actually had cancer, I was like, no, I'm solid on this one. I know that this is true. I was there. So I just wrote back and said to her, well, if you didn't like that one, you shouldn't read any of the others, because it's very similar. I mean, this is typical of my work. Don't go anywhere near the rest.
Well, you didn't answer it by saying, I find your letter full of shit.
No, I didn't. I'm never rude. I am British.
No,
so
I'm
it's
not
very
either.
difficult to be rude, but.
Well, we do love our readers. Okay, thank you, Karen. She loves us authors.
I know. I've gone over time though. The other ladies are going to be pissed.
They are not able to join us. So, any final questions? Because we have gone over time. I haven't been respectful of your time, so we will.
Oh, I don't give a shit. No, we can go on forever. No, it's fine for me. This is more fun than doing whatever I was supposed to be doing. I didn't even know what I was supposed to be doing. Making dinner, I suppose.
Well, we should, because Abby is in LA. So
I am. It's early. It's only 20 to 6-ish.
Yes. Well, I have got, okay, so we're going to switch gears a little bit. Unless anybody has any final questions about Abby. I would love to keep going on and on about this. I adore your writing, Abby, and I just want to thank you for.
You're a lovely, lovely woman.
Yeah.
And you have nice glasses.
What'd you say?
And I said, and I love your glasses also.
Thank you. You too can get them on Amazon there. Cheater blue blockers. I mean, they have the magnification, but they're just cheaters. Yes, this definitely touched my heart. As all your books do. Okay, so we're going to switch gears a little bit. We were supposed to be joined tonight by the writing duo, Christina Lauren, which is Christina
Thingy, what's it?
Yes, and Lauren Hobbs.
Lauren, what's her name?
Lauren Hobbs, I know that. Or is it Christine? Anyway, it's a writing duo. They're best friends. They say they have a brain meld, and they ought to, because they're like 17 times over international bestsellers. I mean, it's just it's wild. But they had a scheduling conflict come up. There were some crossed wires, and so we absolutely forgive them for that. But they were nice enough to send over a video greeting about their book In a Holidays, which we read for the holiday season. It's a rom-com, a holiday rom-com. And I actually got quite a kick out of it. So I'm going to pull up this video so you can all, now this is,
you want to get rid of me so that you can see it bigger?
Actually, I'm going to get rid of both of us for this. here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just post this video in the book club chat so that you can all see it. I don't know why you can't see it.
It just says it's private.
Oh, that's my stupid fault. I marked it as private on.
I thought maybe they were topless in it or something. I was like,
I didn't know. Oh my God.
Then I was like, and I still can't see it, which is disappointing.
Well, I took it down. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. Okay, we're going to try this one more time. Hey, tell me right away if you can't see this, okay, Abby?
Okay.
Hello, Just Gotta Laugh Book Club. I am really sorry that Christina and I cannot meet you this month to discuss our new release in the holidays. This is a Christina Lauren holiday rom-com. There is debates about whether white chocolate is actually chocolate. There's kissing in closets and sledding and the building of snow creatures. And we think that anybody who likes a Christina Lauren book will really love this one. We were inspired by Happy Death Day and by The Family Stone and just by the idea of getting chosen family together in a wintry cabin in Utah and throwing some curveballs at our heroine. So we really enjoyed writing this. We love writing all of our books together, and this one was actually really fun because it was just sort of Christmassy vibes. When we first started writing it, we had no idea that a time loop romance would be sort of ironically hilarious in the year of 2020 because, you know, here we all are living Groundhog Day over and over in some ways. So I think it works. So we've really had a great response from readers, and I think everybody can really relate to falling in love with a childhood best friend, wishing you could find a way to do things over again, not knowing in your 20s and early 30s, like what would make you happy. And so we hope you pick this one up. It's very sweet. It's very romantic. It's very wintry. And again, we're sorry that we couldn't meet you guys, but it's nice being able to send you a video. And we hope that everybody is safe and happy this holiday season. Bye.
That was adorable, wasn't it? So that's
adorable.
That was Lauren who sent that to us. And thank you, Lauren. We really appreciate it. We totally understand when things go haywire with the schedules. But we appreciate you taking the time to send the greeting. So everybody, if you want to drop a comment about In a Holidays, I was really excited to see that Christina Lauren had come out with a holiday book. I know they've had holiday books in the past, but there is something, I don't love Hallmark movies, but I love a good holiday rom-com. And I have to admit, when I first picked up the book, and the basic plot summary is that there's the main character is in her 20s, and she and her family have gone to the same cabin in Park City with family friends her entire life. And she's grown up with two of the now men who go with them. And she's been desperately in love with the older brother, Andrew, since she was 13, and has never been able to tell him that. And it's a Groundhog Day story. So something goes wrong after their week there at Christmas, and she gets stuck in a time loop, and she keeps starting over at day one. And she has to figure out why she's starting over at day one and how to change her trajectory so she doesn't pop out. And it's also it's a love story, and it's a coming of age, and at first I was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to like this. And then I got into it, and it's charming and delightful. But one of the things that I really got into is it reminded me of being in my 20s, and what a messy time that is. It was so much fun in so many ways, but of course, she's going through all the things that 20-something-year-old women do. They're confused about their career. They're confused about romance. They feel like they shouldn't want to just like find the right guy and get married, because that's just not, it's no longer our goal. We just want to find the right person instead of finding someone who's willing to marry us. And on top of all that, then there's this time loop element. But it really is. I loved the idea when Lauren talked about getting second chances to do over again, because I think back to a lot of the stuff I did in my 20s, and it was it was pretty confusing and messy. It was pretty confusing and messy. How were your 20s?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't remember the first half at all. Yeah, it was a shit show. Yeah, it was. It's very, because you don't know anything.
No.
And then when you feel that maybe you're wrong about what you thought you were right about, you still cling to what you had before just because it was yours. Do you know what I mean? Like I was always reluctant to change, even though things were better.
In fact, I have people who are on this thread right now who could divulge some very shit show secrets of me in my 20s, which they won't because they love me. Okay, so Tracy is writing. She says she's on her husband's computer. She loved the book. So I assume, oh yeah, I know you're talking about In a Holidays. And you are on Andrew's side in the white chocolate is not chocolate debate. Okay. We have to take a vote on that.
White chocolate is chocolate.
It is? See. Okay, you have to defend your position.
Here's my defense. I don't really have a defense, but white chocolate is delicious and therefore chocolate.
It is sweet.
That's my argument. It's specious. It's threadbare, but that's what I'm going with. Also, English white chocolate, if I may say so, is more delicious than American white chocolate. So it's possible that you need to eat English white chocolate to really appreciate it. Also, I like vanilla, and I like the vanilla flavor coming through. I don't like vanilla ice cream.
It has to be very creamy.
Yes.
But I don't think
I
don't think white chocolate is any different. In my opinion, it's delicious if done right. I don't like the oily, crappy Hershey's part. But is it really any different than almond bark? Have you ever had a really good almond bark? My grandmother used to buy, and it was this delicious almond bark. It was like that thick, and this was before everyone in my family was allergic to nuts.
Oh.
So I don't buy it. Oh, my kids are, yeah. But so I don't buy it now. But I'm on the side that I don't think white chocolate is really all that different from almond bark, though it is delicious. And maybe I need to take a trip to England to try some real white chocolate.
Yes.
Okay, so there are several. I have to say, if you haven't read the book, and you're looking for something to fall into this holiday season, it really is kind of one of those fall into this book. Christine Whitman, she's like, I love almond bark. That's awesome. You and I will go on a tour of the world for good almond bark someday soon, Christina.
Sounds great. I'm totally into the time loop thing. Did you see that there was a movie at Palm Springs, I think it was called, that came out. That was
good.
Yeah, also like a time loop thing. It can really work if it's done well. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna pick up that book when I finish my book. I can't read while I'm writing.
Okay. Oh, really? You can't read it all?
I can't read my genre. I only read like mysteries. That's what I read the whole time anyway.
That's right. You're quite an Agatha Christie fan.
I am. Huge Agatha Christie fan, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so definitely pick it up if you need a book to fall into. I went into it a little bit skeptical, thinking, I don't know. And then my husband couldn't pull me away from it for a couple of days. So, and I
That's
love
nice.
that. I needed that. We all need that right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And I don't really have much more to say on this one. But if anybody else has any more comments, or we can chat about it in the group. I know it's getting close to the top of the hour. So, but there is, the other thing, if you've ever visited Park City, which I have been fortunate enough, having lived in Denver for so long, to have spent quite a bit of time in Park City. And it cracked me up, in fact, that Andrew works as an audio engineer at Red Rocks in Denver, because I was like, I don't know how many thousands of people would line up for that job, to have that job at Red Rocks in Denver. So that was it's always fun to put people's dream jobs into your books. And that was certainly a dream job. If you love Park City and you've been there too, they spend a lot of time in the village of the original village of Park City. And that's charming too. It's got all the components. Let's just say, for a holiday rom-com, it's got all the components. There's no kissing under the pavilion that all the Hallmark movies have, but there is kissing outside under snow-filled tree branches. There is rescue me from, the love interest rescues her from danger. And that is just wildly, wickedly Christina Lauren funny. Like, she talks about, they talk about everything from, farting to having your period and all those real life stuff, real life things that we have to account for in our romances as women. So I actually give this one, a couple of thumbs up. I really enjoyed it. There's Christopher Walken. Yes. Oh my gosh.
That's definitely a must-have element.
There is. If I can, I wish I would have loaded that up. There's a scene where I had to Google it. I don't know if you had to Google this, Tracy, but I absolutely stopped reading the book and went and Googled Christopher Walken in a Winter Wonderland. There's a pillow that they rave over at a boutique, and that pillow is out there. You can get it in mugs, you can get it in t-shirts, you can get it any way you want. It's hysterical. I would love to meet Christopher Walken someday. Is he on your list?
Which list?
People to meet, or dinner party list?
I hadn't thought of it, but I should definitely add him.
Yes, that would be great. That'd be great. That would be so
cool. How could I have missed him the first time round? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Tracy, if you do end up getting one of those Walking in a Winter Wonderland sweatshirts or t-shirts or pillows, please send us a picture. I would love to see a picture. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap things up. And it has been such a delight, Abby. I'm so glad you stayed.
Well, you're probably dying to talk about me behind my back, but I was like, I'm going to stay here and just hang out, just cause trouble.
No, I'm not dying to, talk behind your back. I'm dying to be able to get to meet you in person and get out of the house and be able to travel. And I know you're probably dying to get back on book tour and meet all these readers that we love.
I really like the Zoom thing, because then I can just be in my pajamas. So I'll be honest, that part has been really good. I get very nervous traveling, so it's better to stay home.
Yeah, that does help. That does help. Well, thank you, everybody, all our lovely readers. Oh, Christine is saying she loved the book. Christine, are you talking about? Christine was actually chatting this afternoon about how much she loved I Was Told It Would Get Easier.
Good. And hopefully the other one too.
Oh, in a holidays. Yeah. Christine, I assume you're talking about I Was Told It Would Be Easier, but maybe you read both books. I'm not sure. I hope you read them both. I hope you have a fantastic...
Christine is a bit of an overachiever. That's the thing.
Oh, she's doing the college waiting game now.
It's painful. Painful.
It's painful. Well, fingers crossed that all envelopes come fat and happy. That's what we call them. All the college envelopes. Because if you get the thin one, that's the sad
That's
name.
a rejection? Okay.
Yeah.
Do they even get envelopes these days, or do they just get emails?
Well, I think it depends on the school. My son got his Fat and Happy envelope.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's a really good question. How that would be dissatisfying, I think.
Yeah, my kid only in England, it's all on the computer, and they don't even email you. You have to go to this central place to look, and all of your colleges are there.
It's like
totally
a
different
tax
system.
list.
Totally different system.
Huh.
And you
Well,
can only apply to 5, and that's it.
that's enough, though, don't you think?
Totally. It's a very small island off the coast of France. There's not a lot of colleges there. So,
Yeah, but still, I mean, for anybody's sanity, 5 is enough.
well, that's the thing. Julia had friends that applied for like 20 colleges. I'm like, are you mad? I had to write like 20 essays. Are you mad? And the essays were something stupid like, if you were a hat, what kind of hat would you be?
Oh, shut up, really?
Hat is what I would be. Like, why are you asking me such a stupid question? But yes, that was one of them, genuinely.
I would have a fuzzy faux fur pom-pom. That's what kind of
I know more about you than I possibly ever needed to.
Okay, everybody. Hugs. Please have a safe and happy holidays. Stay home if you possibly can. If not, wear a mask. Be safe. Okay, everybody. Love you all.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Abby. This was just so fantastic. It really was. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Talk soon, everybody. Good night.